Hey there, all, and welcome to the Impact Zone podcast. We're back to talk more TNA wrestling shenanigans, and we are having a look at the first part for the Under Siege pay-per-view card, which will be live next week on Friday. So right basically the day after TNA Impact next week. So they haven't got really long to build much to this. But then again, they can build more out of it and whatnot. So it's just one of those things sometimes that this is the way it goes with some of these shows, but they're still going to put on some absolute gems and absolute rockers, and we've got to think that Against All Odds is right around the corner after this as well. So it's really sort of building towards that, and then everything that's building from that is building to Slammiversary. So again, you're trying to look at things in that lens. Now, originally this match, this six-man tag match, was going to be Nemeth and Speedball Mountain against the System, but apparently due to the chair shot that Moose delivered to Nemeth. Nemeth is injured and out and can't compete for now. I'm assuming that's just a kayfabe injury. But if it's not, hey, we hope all the best for him and a speedy recovery if he is truly injured. But if not, hey, we just hope that he's coming back soon and not too far away, but still maybe Bound for Glory or maybe Slammiversary. That feels like not too long, but just long enough to sort of, get people to be like, oh, okay, we've got this again or whatever. But that does feel a little bit rushed still. I don't know. I kind of am a little bit on the fence about that. To a smaller extent, I feel like Moose should almost have a year-long title run or more. Now, I'm thinking he should just have the title for a very extended period of time, and really, really cement himself in there as being a dominant top champion. But regarding this match, I feel like this is building to a one-on-one match between Hardy and Moose. I feel like Matt's probably only here for a very short period of time. So I don't see him sticking around too much longer than probably Slammiversary. So we'll wait and see about that. But I do feel like this is probably his only point that he'll be here, or major point of being here. Again, this is a couple of weeks after what they just did at Rebellion, so it's fairly quick for him. It's not going to be that long of a stint. If he loses here, which in my thought is maybe what'll happen, but then again, you might want to get a little bit of momentum for Hardy to win, and then challenge Moose late at Against All Odds. So yeah, I don't know. Even if he wins here or if his team wins here or whatever, I don't feel like he's winning. Because again, you have that distinct feeling that he's not sticking around for very long. He's just here to make some buzz about himself and make some buzz in TNA, which is good. And hey, we really appreciate it, Matt. It's wonderful. Wonderful. But yes, I just don't see it. He's good and he's great, but if you're not going to be around for a very long period of time, it's sort of hard to invest in somebody more overall. You can get behind the chants and whatnot and things like that, but in a lot of ways, it's almost like it's old hat as well. So it's tough. But then again, it's well, this was his most popular gimmick that he ever really caught on with. And this is the thing that. This is the the thing that should have probably catapulted him to a world title. Really, the times before this that he won the world title in TNA, I felt like they were I don't know, stopgaps. I don't know. Like, I don't really see that he should have won it. He should have kept that story that he was that, and it could have really helped lead more credence to this whole he became broken thing, and whatnot. It really could have led more credence to that, to the fact that he never really won the title and couldn't win the title until he like lost his mind and all of this sort of stuff. But it was sort of weird that he never really won the title. I think that was sort of a misstep there, and I just don't see him like winning it now with his best gimmick, which is just like a little bit sad. He really should have won it like back in the day with this broken Matt gimmick, and then gone from there and whatnot. I don't know whether you should have like had Jeff come back or Brother Nero come back and then try to get revenge after a prolonged period of time or something. I don't know, but you almost kind of don't want to see it, because it's like, well, this is the first, like if they had framed it that way, it would have been much more clear in the audience's mind that this is like Matt's, crowning achievement. Finally, he's done it, but he sort of hasn't really done it. Like, he hasn't really done it till he's beaten Jeff for the title. Like, you could do it that way, but then again, it sort of feels like it's such a hero journey for Jeff to come back and whatnot, so it feels tough to not put the belt on him. So it's, yeah, but like, no, like I don't see Matt winning the title, like winning this match. Sure, whatever, that's fine, 100%. He could pin Myers or Edwards, either one, doesn't really matter. Then he could have a singles match with one of them after this, and then go into Against All Odds to face Moose for the title. I'm sure he's losing there. I don't think he's sticking around too much longer. I don't know, but we're obviously, he's just on a handshake sort of style of an agreement that he'll be here as long as, he's not got somewhere else sort of quote unquote better to be. Like, he was just in AEW, we know that. So, it's one of those things. He could conceivably go back to the AEW, but what's he going to really do there? He kind of was floundering and not really doing much there. And that's the same story of a lot of people that are over there. WWE, like what could he do? Like, he couldn't be his best gimmick, i.e. Broken Matt Hardy, or he kind of could be, maybe, but he'd just be the watered down Woken version of it, I guess. Unless like they do something with that, I don't know. Like, and I just don't see that. I don't see them like being like, let's do this again. Like, they already tried to do it, and it's like, well, what's the point? Like, you're not a really big single star. We could do something with you as a tag team guy. Like, outside of the Broken Matt stuff, he's not really a good singles guy. He's a really good tag guy, and that's about it. Like, yeah, so I don't see like that really working out. Like, he could go there and they could do some stuff. Like, I'm hyped to see Brother Nero, if he's coming back at some point into TNA, just for like one more tag team match, maybe at Slammiversary with Brother Matt here. That'd be nice against the system, and then them going down, like, because again, you can tell that story of like, Myers or Edwards, they got the pin on, he got the pin on one of the tag champions, and then the tag team champions are saying, hey, we're the best tag team, not you and your brother, and things like that. And your brother's not even here. And then it's like, well, yes, he is. Like, that could be a good moment. They're always, like, Matt and Jeff are always joined at the hip. It's tough to sort of see one without the other. So, like, it's always obvious to think about, like, when will these two be back together? Like, because they're almost always getting back together and doing stuff. So one more big send-off in TNA would be nice. Like, I don't know, or that, or even not even that. Like, they could just like join the tag team division. Like, why not? Just stay in TNA as long as you can, or whatever. Just do some stuff there for a little bit, and you know, you can do some great work, and you've got a lot of, well, I say a lot, but you've got a lot of people to work with. Perhaps not that many great tag teams, maybe the Good Hands, or, well, GYV have just sort of gone to AEW, but still, I don't know. And so have Motor City Machine Guns, apparently, but still. Yeah, anyway, it feels like it's very much like we're not really going to see much there. It's not really Matt's title to take, and like maybe they could do something with the tag team titles, but I just don't see it because again, it feels like the system overall as well should have a very dominant run at the top for like 6 months to a year or more. I don't feel like they should like water down what they're doing to, kind of do that. And I almost feel like Lish is in the wrong space in doing the tag team title match, which we'll talk about in a minute here. This upcoming Impact, we'll find out which of the two between Ace Austin or Trey Miguel is going to face Mustafa Ali. In my opinion, it's going to be Trey Miguel because he's a babyface, and that only makes sense in that side of storytelling. And again, I feel like they're really driving this whole like separation of ABC already, because like they haven't had a tag team match since, well, they haven't had very many tag team matches since really losing the titles, and it just feels like them getting a rematch for those titles is getting ever further away. So I don't know, and it seems like there's a lot of dissension between them and all of that sort of stuff. So, but either way, I feel like Ace Austin isn't winning here. If he does win, which in my opinion he will be winning against Trey, because there's no unless you're going to start trying to turn the Rascals like babyface-ish, like which you could do. I don't see the big point in like doing that. It just doesn't really like make much sense to kind of do that. It's too. It's very rushed. I don't know. Like that's just my thought on it. It feels like very rushed if they're going to try to turn them babyface. They were already doing heel stuff on this show, but they were also kind of doing some like kind of babyface stuff, I guess, ish. Which, that they can do that. They shouldn't have to just like do some babyface stuff and then be like, oh well, they're turning babyface. Like I don't see that. Like, they also did a lot of heelish stuff, like ish at least. So you could still kind of tell a story there or do something there that works. I don't know, but yeah, like I just don't see anything there, and it's tough to like push my idea again of feeling like this whole Mustafa Ali thing, I don't know how long it's going to last. Because we know that he's not a full-time talent, but we know that he has some sort of a deal. But like maybe like if he's here for 6 months or whatever it is, or treated fairly well by the company, which I'm sure they do, and has a pretty good deal. I'm sure he's got a pretty good deal because I'm sure he wouldn't have come in otherwise. That he'll, be like, okay, well, how about we sign a full-time deal for a year or whatever, or a couple of years or whatever. I think Nick Nemeth is a bit different, even though TNA has technically signed him. I think that that's more of a open contract that sort of says that Nemeth can do basically what he wants. For the most part, they'll try to work within his schedule as much as possible. But hey, when we say, hey, we want you to do this, hey, well, you're expected to do that to remain employed and remain getting that check. And like I'm assuming it's a pay per appearance style deal as well in some regards, that or pay per media sort of style of things that says, hey, unless you're actually doing stuff specifically for us, well, you're not getting paid. So I'm sure that he understands that, and he's like, well, that's fair enough, especially since I'm commanding some pretty big bucks. So, hey. And if I'm not there this month or not there for a month or two or whatever it's going to be, well, obviously you're not going to pay me just to sit on the shelf and do my own thing, whatever. But anyway, PCO and Jordan Grace versus Steph DeLander and Khan. Like, I feel like this one feels like Khan and DeLander should win. Honestly, I don't know, but I think Khan should probably win. I felt like Khan should have won in the Monsters Bowl. I feel like if you're going to continue their feud, their rivalry, that it's like, well, what more are you going to do with these guys? Like, where can you go? I don't really know. That's going to be really tough. But like, if you're going to continue it, then at this very point, Khan needs to win. He cannot lose in this match. If he loses in this match, then it's like, well, now you've taken like every single bit of momentum, like almost away from him. Like that, or you've got to show him being completely like crazy and desperate and an absolute killer. Like you cannot take away all of this stuff from him, like make him lose twice straight and then lose again here in this tag match. Like you can't make him look weak. You've got to make him look like if he's going to be anything or anyone, he's got to look strong. That, or if he again loses in this match, he's got to snap and go crazy and wreck house afterwards and really do a number on PCO at the end of this match. So I feel like Khan should pick up the win over PCO here to set up another match between them. What that will be, God only knows. I don't know what they'll do there, but they have to do something really, really big because they've already just had, Monsters Ball. So there's that, which we will see more of as we go along. I'm actually going to talk about Spitfire versus Alicia Edwards and Marsha Slamovich first here, I think, because that has less intrigue for me and is a lot more clean cut, in my opinion, in some ways, at least to most degree. I feel like this is the wrong position for both of these ladies to be in Marsha and Alicia. I feel like both of them should just probably be going for the singles title against Jordan Grace, especially Alicia. Like that feels like she could be like the final boss of like the TNA Knockouts division, which I think would be good, kind of thing. That'd be interesting. That'd be something else. And you could have a good story for a good few months or whatever it is of Jordan or whoever else getting back to the title or winning the title in a babyface way off of Alicia. I don't know. Like I was saying, I don't know whether DeLander is sticking around. I should have said this a little bit before, but if she is, which I think she should, honestly, I don't really see her feud with Jordan going anywhere unless her team wins. And then you've got Against the Odds, so you could do a third match between them, but DeLander's already 2 down, so do you want to put her 3 down? I don't know. You could almost tell a similar story to Jordan and Diana, where DeLander just can't beat Jordan, but she's getting better and better and closer every time. That could kind of work. That could kind of be interesting. But again, I still feel like Marsha, she could be a good challenger for the title. She's already challenged against Jordan before, but again, you might as well. You've rehashed a lot of things in this run of Jordans, and there's not that many other people that are in the division. Though I do feel like I've said it before. I felt like she should be holding the title for Kylan King almost. But you could almost do that at any time. Although it was said that she was coming back in a couple of months. So that sounds like, Slammiversary time. So that means maybe she can have a match of Rebellion-ish, maybe. I don't know. But I feel like she would have to work her way through the roster a little bit to, you know, prove that she deserves to be the champion for a couple months or whatever, and then get the title match and then win it, and then you've got to still have people to defend it against, so that could be good too. So it's really tough to put somebody in that position. I think maybe that's why Alicia's having this tag team title match. Maybe she kind of quote doesn't really want it. But she had a really good match with Trinity and whatnot when she was the Knockouts champion, and I think it was one of her best matches that she's had in TNA in a long time. And I think just her heel work in general has been the best thing that she's probably done again, in recent memory. So I'm rooting for her in some ways, just to being man, you go get it and you go show what you can really do with the top prize. Same with Marsha. I always feel like I want to see her doing again way more and just having those bigger moments and matches and whatnot. Even if she's going to lose, well, at least she had a really big match that people paid to see, and at least it was built up and it had a story and whatnot, all this stuff behind it. I just feel like the tag team division is always a problem, and I've said this I don't know how many times, so many goddamn times, that it always feels like they chop up stuff for them, singles roster to put into the tag teams, but they always chop up the tag teams as well just for the singles roster, just because they don't have enough stuff really going on for a champion to really defend against enough people without having to chop up the tag team division or chop through the tag team division. And then you don't have enough singles wrestlers or enough tag teams in the tag team division to really make it viable. So realistically, again, it really hinders the singles title division when you haven't really got enough wrestlers to do it and enough real teams to really do it. The girls do as much as what they can and as best as what they can with the situation and with what's going on, but it is what it is. But again, I just don't see Marsha and Alicia winning, because it would make sense for the system holds all the titles, but Marsha really isn't in the system, and I just don't feel like these girls should be in this position in lots of ways. Plus, again, it just feels like they hot potato these titles a lot, and they just shouldn't hot potato these titles as much as what they do. That, or they should just, as I said, get rid of these titles. It just every time that you look at this female tag team division, without proper teams, it just suffers so much from this, slamming two people together and then having to break people apart just to feed to the champion and things like that. Or rather, the Knockouts champion, I should say. I shouldn't say the champion, because that gets confusing. But still, yeah, it's a lowly division that not really many people care about. It's just something there to kind of give people something else to do, but they could give them something else to do by actually challenging for the number one contendership to the title. So I don't know. That'd make more sense to me. I don't know. Anyway, Hammerstone and Jake something. Big, meaty, sweaty men slapping some meat. This is something that a lot of people wanted to see. Hey, and this is where I feel like, hey, this is exactly where Jake something should be. He should be, slapping some meat with some of the bigger names that are in TNA. Hammerstone being one of them. And Hammerstone just came off of that loss in that feud to Josh Alexander. I feel like he should win here. I don't know. But again, it's tough because you start looking again back to where this is kind of at, which is the upper mid card sort of area of everything, and you've got to start looking at who Jake can feud with to try to feud with Moose. So he's got to probably feud with Khan. So again, that's where you've got to build Khan up so that Khan's a legitimate threat, and so that Jake has something to sort of overcome when he goes and faces him. So it's not just because, oh, I want somebody to push Khan because I've got a big boner for Khan or whoever. No, I'm going, well, you've got to consider the entire division. Like, you've got to consider that Jake something's in this division and he needs a rub. And then, like, what are you going to do with him? Oh, well, there's the system there. And you've got to figure out what you're going to do with everyone else because there's so much more that's going to be on this card as well. We already know there's a fair bit going on. It feels like Nemeth is out. So what was going on between Frankie and Steve Macklin is kind of like somewhat irrelevant, but it might be still on the table-ish. So we'll wait and see there in some degrees. But I'm sure next week they will have announced the full card for this show. I don't know whether we're going to do a watch along. I might put a poll up on the community tab and see if people actually want me to do a watch along. I've done a couple of watch alongs now, and not very many people have actually tuned in for them. Probably because a lot of people are actually turning into the actual pay-per-view and don't really just want to watch me, a floating head, like reacting to the show. So it is what it is. I get that. But still, it's one of those sorts of things that, it is just for the channel and just to try to promote TNA. So we do what we can in some ways and try to promote this channel as well. But it is what it is. Again, like, it's tough to, put Hammerstone down again and give him another loss. So that sucks. Like, again, like you say, but you could like build a feud between these two. But, like, I don't know. It's tough. I don't know if... I definitely don't think that Jake is quite the guy material, though I do think that he could be a worthy challenger on a pay-per-view to the world title. I don't think he's ready to hold the ball yet. I think, though I say that, I feel like Khan is almost ready to hold the ball, though his time, I think, as being able to hold the ball is probably diminishing by the year. He's getting a fair bit older now. So if they're going to do something with Khan, they've got to try to pull the trigger on him pretty quickly. Yes, he could have a very long and late career like PCO kind of has done, but really you need to capitalize, or you need to sort of make people hot and then capitalize on it. So hopefully they do that. But again, the thing is just, you've got to catapult some guys sometimes that don't feel like they're 100% ready, because like that exposure to that top level makes them kind of ready over a period of time. So yeah, but that is my thoughts on the first parts of this card. As I said, we'll probably get the full card next week because, again, it's only happening next week anyway, so we don't have a lot of time to wait or to waste on figuring out what's going on at this show. And then we've got to get ready for Under Siege, but yeah, I will definitely put that poll up for people to vote in and see whether we're going to do that live stream. I don't think we probably will, yeah, but we might, who knows. But until next week, I hope you guys have enjoyed this one, and I hope you will join me again in that week's review or in the upcoming Under Siege preview, and then we will have the Under Siege review as well. So please do join me in those, and hope that if not, you will join me again in another one.